Arsenal take on Tottenham Hotspur in game week 6 of the Premier League. Perfect timing to get a call. Should have put it on Do Not Disturb. But people, we're here for the Premier League preview show. So if you're not used to the channel, or if you're brand new, welcome. Here we do predictions. So guys, make sure you get your predictions ready. And if you want to be within a chance of winning a prize at the end of the season, please get them into the comments. But we're going to be discussing the North London derby, Liverpool versus West Ham, Chelsea take on Aston Villa. Can Manchester United also grab a win away to Burnley, and much more here in the Premier League preview show. So people, let's get into it. Wagwan, everyone. I hope you're doing well and welcome back to Tereak Talks. Hope you've all had a good week. Happy Friday to you all. It is Friday indeed, and we're here for the Premier League preview show. Always look forward to this part of the week. It's my favorite show that I do here, and I'm gonna be adding some new stuff if you are regular. I kind of mentioned it in my previous stream. We're going to be spicing it up a bit. We're going to be getting new guests along the way, but all of those will start from next week. I'll discuss more at the end of the stream, so make sure you do stay tuned for that as we run through the predictions table as well. But here it is, people. It's the Premier League preview show. It is exactly what it says on the tin. We're going to preview each fixture of the Premier League this weekend, and the main one being the Arsenal versus Tottenham North London derby. We have a cracker this weekend, and I hope that that I can bring you the right balance of analysis, as I am an Arsenal fan, if you don't know. But I will try and be as balanced as possible. Try to look into this because, we're not just an Arsenal channel, but we look at all Premier League teams and try and look at them objectively, with a bit of subjectiveness in there, of course, because that's what football's about at the end of the day. But let's get into it. Before we do, I just want to big up each and every one of you that is in the chat. We've got plenty of you here from early. We've got someone from the white side of North London in Bobby K, my brother, all the way in the CNA, Canada. Hope you're keeping well, my bro. Send love to the family too, but I hope that you have a terrible end to the weekend with the Arsenal game, but I hope you're keeping good, and great to see you in here. Ends, my bro, is in here too, a Liverpool fan. Say, bless up, my bro. Big up to yourself, man. Always love to see you in here too. King, my fellow Gooner, and he's answering to the question that I've posed to you guys in the live chat. So we do have a poll currently going on right now. If you haven't seen it, yes, we do have one. I'm just having some issues here, some technical issues. That's what's the reason why I'm late here. But I did ask the question ahead of the North London derby: which attacking midfielder are you choosing? And we've got 86% going with Ødegaard and 14% with Maddison. Yeah, that's the Arsenal contingency coming in strong here. But maybe it's not. Maybe it's just people who have sense. But now, big up to my bro King. He says Maddison is a baller, had a good start, but for me, Ødegaard is a level minimum ahead of him. He's seen just a level ahead at least. Big up to yourself, King. And do I disagree? No, I totally agree with you. You know, as I always do. Big up my bro Brush in here. William, another Arsenal fan. Chicken Ball Z. Ain't got nothing on us. Come on, you Gunners. Exactly that, William. They got 0. They ain't got nothing on it. And I wonder if you, like Turkish, I've seen, has 5 on it. We'll have to wait and see. You'll see my prediction if you haven't seen it on other channels going into this. So, big up to yourself, William. Big up Shay in the building too. Wilf in here says, yes, little bro, big love. Sup, my king, bro. She's big on all you guys in the place. Late, is our technical difficulties, internet issues today. Paxton, big up my bro, Pax. He says, apologizing, FC. I know more apologies than wins this season. Sounds like Man United. Big up to yourself. Man like Tereak got that Levi Wi-Fi. It's true. All that Joe Lewis one. Nah, I'd be locked up if I had that one there. But 77 subs away from 800. They're on the road to 800 now. Big up to each and every one of yourselves who are new subscribers. Love to see you in here, whether you saw me on other channels elsewhere. Glad that you have tuned in and you have subscribed in here too. I think I've ran through everyone in the chat. William Ødegaard, surely a fraudulent settings. Bro, are you wearing a Palace shirt? Yeah, I've got the Eagle here. It's a Diesel shirt, Diesel t-shirt indeed. But I hear what you said. I didn't even notice that. I like how you picked that one out, my bro. But let's get into it. And without further ado, guys, if you haven't done so already, please smash that like button. If you haven't done so, I know I've just repeated myself about 4 times there, but let's get into it. And here are the rules for the predictions. If you are new, if you're watching this afterwards, that's totally okay. You are still in with a chance to get your predictions in. If you're brand new, if you've not done it before either, yeah, don't worry about it. We're only 5 game weeks in. We're about to enter the 6th, so we'll definitely, you've still got a chance. And I'll talk more about the end, what I'm going to be bringing for those newcomers and for those who have been here for the long term as well. But all predictions must be entered before the first fixture of the game week. So, guys, make sure these predictions are sent in before the 3 o'clock kickoffs. We haven't got a game, our 12 kickoff here in the UK, but the first set of fixtures will begin at 3 o'clock. Leave your predictions in the comments at the end of the stream. Please do that, people. Make sure you can get them in during the stream. I'll read them out. I'll pick them out. Any thoughts that you have on the games, I'll definitely discuss that as well as I discuss mine and the team news and the lead up going into it. But guys, make sure if you want to be entered, put them into the comment section. Please do. 3 points for correct score. So if you predict Arsenal to win by 2-0 and Arsenal win 2-0, you get 3 points. But if you predict Arsenal to win 2-0 and they win 2-1 or 3-1, 3-2, whatever, you do get 1 point for a correct score. I'm keeping tally of them here also. I've got this week's prediction. So just the scores that you guys got this week. And yeah, I'll go more into that, why I'm going to read them out on stream towards the end. So yeah, we've got plenty to talk about. And let's get into it with the first fixture, which is not the first fixture of the weekend, but the first one that we're going to discuss. And that is the North London derby. Arsenal take on Tottenham Hotspur at the Emirates Stadium. 2 teams who have had an unbeaten start, exact same points, 4 wins and a draw. The draw for Tottenham came in their first game against Brentford, and the draw for Arsenal came against Fulham, and they were both 2-2 draws. But yeah, Arsenal felt more disappointed with theirs, and Tottenham pleasing. And, you know, we're coming from different parts, you know, different expectations, different goals this season. But both teams have started very impressive. And it's 2 teams that play cracking football. And it's, you know, it's sublime, the football that Tottenham have played this season in the very early days under Ange Postecoglou, who is certainly becoming a favourite of many fans. And even Arsenal fans are liking him, including me, going into this. But maybe this fixture can change things, and I need to start disliking Spurs managers, because that's how like, you know, that's what we need. We don't need this Man City Liverpool friendly rivalry. We want to have some of that detest but respect at the end of the day, and we've got a lot of respect for Ange. But yeah, I'm not sure if many Tottenham fans have respect for Arteta, just the way he's got a bit of needle about him, Arteta. But yeah, I feel like you need that to be a successful coach. You need that little bit of arrogance, and I'm sure Ange probably does have it, but we're just not quite seen it yet. But yes, going into some important team news before I get into it. Arsenal, Martin Odegaard signs his new contract. That was great news that we saw today. Arsenal skipper, the one who I've put in the poll, signing a new contract. Arsenal's top earner, which he should be as the captain. He has more role. He has a bigger role than the other players. There's more responsibilities, and he's been carrying them with due diligence, and he's been doing it excellently. Martin Odegaard, what a pleasure it is to have this man a part of our squad. What a pleasure it is to watch this guy play football. But overall, on and off the pitch, with his professionalism, how he carries himself, he's a leader by example rather than by someone who, you know, it communicates a lot by a lot of talking, but he communicates with his body language. And just hearing some things off the pitch as well, that he has grown into that role even more of late as he gets more experience, gets a bit older. We are a young squad, but he's someone that has been involved in professional football since the age of 15 now, and he found a home at Arsenal, which he couldn't quite find at Real Madrid or any of the previous clubs that he was on loan to. And he had some successful spells in Heerenveen and Real Sociedad, but Martin Odegaard has really come to, you know, living up to the potential that he once was had it felt like, and he wasn't quite reaching it because he wasn't just simply getting enough games at Real Madrid with the likes of Cruz, Modric in that midfield. It's hard to get above them as well. But yeah, he is here and he is killing it, and one of the best players in the Premier League in the past, I'd say 18 months, because I'd really go back to even the season where we finished fifth in the 2021-22 season, but had his best season in an Arsenal shirt, well, in his professional career last year, scoring 15 goals, the highest goal scoring midfielder, with non-penalty goals, with their, scoring the most without taking penalties. Dele Alli wasn't really playing as a midfielder in that season. Tottenham fans will probably beg to differ. Let me know if you do believe that, because I can hear it, but Odegaard, a little bit deeper, and someone that is very underrated in his defensive ability as well. Thank you, King, for tagging me in this earlier, but no one has won possession more than Martin Odegaard since the 2022-23, so since last season, and that just goes to show how good he is on and off the ball. He's not just a technician who's very gifted and has a wonderful left foot and has wonderful feet in tight spaces, but someone who's diligent in his defensive duties, has the energy and the awareness defensively as well, to press. And he usually leads the press for Arsenal. So he deserves that new contract. And it's someone that I am, I'm happy, and someone who represents the club well. I'm proud to call our captain. And we've not had many that have done that consistently. I'd say we've represented the club well over the years with being the captain. We've had a lot of dark days, and Man United fans are knowing that now, and they're hoping that they can come out of the end of that with all the leaks and dramas. But yeah, we finally seems like we've come through that, and we have got a very special team here. But in terms of the team news, we did receive some good news as Arsenal fans about Gabriel Martinelli, who is still going to be assessed ahead of this game, which in itself is good news, whether he does play or not, whether he features within the squad, makes it on the bench, or if he doesn't, I think that's okay, because the fact that he's in contention means that the hamstring injury isn't as serious as it might have been first feared. Hamstrings and injuries, muscular injuries in general, tend to be nowhere near as serious as what we've seen for the likes of Thomas Partey, who may not be back until after the October international break. And then the other injury that we have at this moment in time and currently up to date is Jurrien Timber. So only 3 players missing, 3 key players, and it's Jurrien Timber, key player, because of what we've seen in his early days at Arsenal, man of the match in the Community Shield against Manchester City, impressive throughout the pre-season games, and was going to have a key role with his versatility and his all-round ability as well for the Arsenal this season. But injury has curtailed that, and we might not see him until towards the end of the season, earliest March. Let's hope sooner. Not sooner than that. Let's hope it is around that sort of date and before the end of the season, as hopefully Arsenal will be competing in at least one competition and seriously competing at least in one of them, but hopefully in quite a few. But yeah, for Tottenham, though, in terms of their injury news, they have got a few players out. They received bad news for Ivan Perisic, who is going to be out for the next 5 to 6 months, who is suffered an ACL injury, and he's going to be working extremely hard to be trying to be fit and available for the Croatia in the Euros. It's going to be unlikely that's going to be the case, I would say, with someone on around his age, but he has kept himself fit. And he's someone, even though he's in his mid-30s now, someone who has looked after his body well and has had a wonderful career and been consistent. And he's made a real impact off the bench for Spurs. Of course, Bentancur still out, not expected to return until after the international break. Ryan Sessegnon, the same also goes for him, as well as Brian Hill. And it looks like Giovanni Lo Celso, he's back in training, but he won't be rushed back, so he might not be available for this game. But apart from Ivan Perisic from the last game, that's the only player that is out injured. So Spurs have the likes of Maddison fit, Richarlison, who might have a spring in his step and could go on a goal scoring run if he goes and scores here, which will be much needed for Tottenham. And they've still got the likes of Son, their danger men, and probably their player of the season in Yves Bissouma, all fit and available here. And just my thoughts on this game, as I'm going to get into my predictions now. think it's going to be a very good game. Two teams that want to play on the front foot, who want to have as much control as possible. I have been impressed with Spurs. And I will give him a good word here. Like, what Andrew's done in a short space of time isn't easy. We've seen it as Arsenal fans. It's where where you've got so many issues in and around the club, the culture, losing your best player. And it's not easy to quickly transition into that and have such an impact in a short space of time, which Ange has done. And it's fantastic work from him and the players and the staff in and around. But I do think that it will be playing right into Arsenal's hands. And Ange doesn't change. He said in his press conference he's not going to change. And even before the press conference, it was well known that he doesn't really change for anyone. With his Celtic team going to the Bernabeu and playing as at home to Barcelona too, they still play on the front foot, leave spaces in behind, but create plenty of chances. And and playing a style that he wants to do, and he'll want to maintain him for throughout his time there, however long or short that may be there. But if he is going to want to eventually have be the best Tottenham and create the best team possible, I guess he does need to stick to his principles and make sure they don't change, but have a few bits of adaptation. Because with Spurs, how good they have been going forward, and now they've created plenty of chances. Madison involved, Son, Richarlison, Kulusevski, etc. And those likes of, they have looked vulnerable defensively, and that's because they just lack a bit of that stability. Some of the players that they've got in a Doggy and Pedro Porro, great going forward, and when they're facing forward and in the opposition's half, brilliant. But they leave a little bit to be desired defensively, and they're up against, whether it's Trossard or Martinelli, the form that both of those players have been in, but definitely Bukayo Saka, off the back of his Champions League goal, where a brilliant performance, goal and assist for Saka and Trossard in that game. They are going to be a handful. Arsenal players have dangers all over the pitch. We're the best team at scoring from set pieces too, an underrated aspect of our game. Manchester City are also in and around there. That's why they are as good as they are. They're not, and if we are trying to get to that level, we need to excel or match them or be as close as possible in all those aspects. And Spurs are going to have a real test in their hands. The home team generally tends to win in this one, and I think it's going to remain the same. And after all those niceties, I do think Arsenal are going to batter Spurs in sense of a scoreline. I don't think it's going to be a battering for the game. I think they will have periods of control and they will create a few chances. I've gone with Spurs to even score a goal too, because just how Arsenal are defensively. I do think David Raya will continue in goal for Arsenal. There's been that whole debate about Raya, Ramsdale. Is it right? Is Arteta being is he being ruthless? Is he being harsh on Ramsdale? For me, I don't have as much sentiment in football as other Arsenal fans do. I get emotionally attached to these players, like I am with Saka, and I would say with Ødegaard and even Ramsdale. Yeah, I do have an emotional attachment, and I do feel, you do feel something when someone's been there for a long time. They're showing you that loyalty, and they've got a personality to them as well. I was there for Ramsdale's debut against West Brom, and he was giving it a bit to the West Brom fans, and I like it. And those are the personalities you want. But Arsenal are a better team with David Raya in goal, because we just look a lot more calm defensively. He's a better goalkeeper from what I've seen in the opening two games at this moment in time than Aaron Ramsdale. I know I was speaking to a lot of my friends and people within the game, just fans saying that, yep, I think Raya's better than Ramsdale. And I was saying, I think it's closer than it is. I do think Ramsdale has all the technical abilities to be a top goalkeeper. His distribution on his day is good. His shot stopping ability, he can claim from crosses. There's no real weakness in Ramsdale's game from a technical standpoint. But what I have seen is just mentally the lapses in concentration, the mistakes that are creeping in, the errors that we saw towards the end of the season, and just that whole jitteriness. And it's hard to really quantify it or really specify it in that way, because when you watch Arsenal, maybe because I'm feeling it as a fan emotionally too, I just feel like Ramsdale, I don't feel as secure as I do with Raya. And this is me nitpicking. And this is not a And a standout issue where I feel terrified, like how Man United fans probably feel with Onana in goal at the moment. I don't feel like that with Ramsdale, but I feel a lot more calm, assured, and just how he gives that throughout his defense. I think Raya transmits that better at the moment. And the standout technical quality that I say Raya's better, he's claiming crosses and his long ball distribution is much more consistent than Ramsdale's. Ramsdale can do it. He's got a sidewinder himself. He can pick a player out, do a daisy cutter. He's got the distribution from long throws, goal kicks, you can name it. But Raya's been more consistent with it from what I've seen. So I think he deserves to continue to go ahead. But it will be Arteta's decision there. But I do think Arsenal are going to win this. And I know I've gone on a little bit of a tangent here, but this is the biggest game of the weekend. I've gone with an Arsenal 4, Spurs 1. Spurs to grab a goal. They will create a few chances. I think this is going to be the first team in the Premier League that are going to come out of play against us and really try and impose their game upon us and try and cause us problems consistently throughout the game. Manchester United, yeah, they were the toughest team that we faced this season up until this point, but they were a bit timid and passive, I'd say, even when they had possession. A lot of it was in and around the back with Onana, and they looked to try and hit us on the counter-attack, which isn't too dissimilar to what Fulham did. It's not Nottingham Forest, Crystal Palace, and Everton. Man United just have higher quality players in and around there that are more dangerous, lethal. Rashford can do it, of course. Højlund was causing some issues physically when he was on the pitch. Eriksen, I thought he had a good game distributing the ball, and Bruno Fernandes. You got the threats there. I didn't think he had a great game, but they got more threats than what we faced previously. But I think with Spurs, they will try and attack us. They will have flying fullbacks going forward, leaving spaces in behind, meaning that Arsenal will have to commit numbers back and do their due diligence off the ball as well. But I think that the space that they'll leave, Arsenal being able to transition as fluidly as we do, the goals that we get from Ødegaard, Trossard, Jesus now in the attack, no surprise that Arsenal had their best game going forward when Jesus started his first game and looking as sharp as he does, as he did in the Champions League. So important to keep this guy fit. It is so important. I like Eddie Nketiah. Whenever he's coming in, he's done a decent job. I do have criticisms about his game, just for Arsenal to be at that level and to basically compete with Man City. That we still do lack a little bit with Eddie, I'd say, and we don't look as fluid in our attacks. We still maintained results and got wins, of course, unbeaten. But if Arsenal are going to be at their best, scoring goals, creating chances, Gabriel Jesus is the first name on the team sheet in there, and we've got Saka also. Havertz, potentially the Havertz Vieira, who starts there? That's another debate. If I speak about all the other topics or the discussions, we'll be here for all night, and I need to get through the other fixtures as well. I might do a preview show tomorrow where I have a look into Arsenal versus Spurs, in-depth predicted lineups, etc. And going with, what the key battles of the pitch. I'm thinking about doing that tomorrow, but I want to see if you guys are interested in that, of course, first. But yeah, Arsenal versus Spurs. I think Arsenal are going to win by 4-1. Let me know your thoughts and predictions, guys, in the chat. Let me go into it and see what you, ladies and gents, are saying here. So we've got big up Anfield, Rods in the building. My brother, this is big up my brother too. Big up to yourself as well, Rods. Hope you're keeping good, G. Love to see you in here as well, man. He's gone with Arsenal 2, Spurs 2. So he's gone for a 2-2 draw here. Shay's gone for a 3-1 Arsenal win. Wilf's gone for a 3-1 Arsenal win as well. Even before just reading your comments, I think this is the most popular scoreline that I've seen for the previews that I have watched and the predictions I've seen flying about. This seems to be the most popular scoreline. But yeah, 3-1 to the mighty Arsenal, says Wilf. Ange is unhateable. He definitely is, how he talks and how he just seems so respectable and an honest, true guy. William says, all banter aside, Big Ange is doing good things over at Tottenham. But despite this, we're too much for them in terms of quality. 3-0 full time. Respect for Ange. Wish I'd kept my mouth shut, saying that they needed a reset manager like Arteta. I know they did get that. They had the Conte. We thought when he first came in, maybe he's going to do something in terms of winning a trophy with Spurs. And if he can do that, maybe they can kick on. Didn't work out. at all. But this reset type of manager, getting Spurs to play good football, new stadium, the new stadium, well, newish stadium that they've got, and generating money and just being a good side and a desirable side to play for. Maybe the future could be bright there, but it's still very, very early days. Very early days. What, 5 games into the 10 yet? Could all go pear-shaped like it did for Nuno. Hope so. So glad Odegaard signed the thing. Shows how far we've come under Arteta. Getting my man like Odegaard wanting to tag his future to us exactly. Martinelli, Odegaard, Saka, Saliba, Ramsdale included, Ben White loading, and am I missing someone else? Am I? I don't know, but signing all our best players, our key players who have got us to this position, shows the direction that we're going in. If our fans didn't know it or rivals, you do now. Surely this is good news. My captain is staying. It's okay if we rest Martinelli. We trust the trust. Exactly. We trust the trust. Indeed. Mr. 200, good evening to yourself as well, my bro. He says 3-1 Arsenal. That's it. There it is with the whole everyone's going for that one. I feel like is the whole goalkeeper. Sorry, the whole goalkeeper situation is just jokes. We need depth in all positions. 100%, William. That's my outlook to it. I think goalkeepers, fans need to kind of change their outlook on that goalkeeping position. I think it is a bit archaic and a bit. The times have moved on in terms of that position, the demands that's required. I do think that you need depth in that position. And the best performances we've seen from goalkeepers have been when they've got a very good backup. Edison's raised his level of his game when he's got, since Ortega's come in. That's the best we've seen of Edison. No surprise, and Ortega was a key part of them winning the treble, unfortunately. Not sure Raya will start. The intensity of North London could see Ramsdale come in. Honestly, there's nothing between them, just different attributes for different game states. I hear what you're saying. That's something I've heard as well. Some people saying that because Ramsdale's playing the North London derby, he gets it. He's had excellent games in the North London derby at home and away. Last season, he was man of the match at Spurs ground. But yeah, do you know? I thought he said, Arteta himself has said, different attributes, different things that they both have. I don't know if, to be honest, I don't know if there's anything that Ramsdale does that Raya can't do. I'll be real with that. But yeah, I just think personalities, that's where they're different. And maybe this game suits Ramsdale's. Who cares? To be honest, I'm not really bothered. That's how it is. I trust my team and I trust my manager so much. I'm not stressing about lineups. How I did previously, I used to stress, make sure I'm thinking this is what needs to happen. I'm very easy with it. I've got so much trust, not just in the manager, but the players. Whoever's put on that pitch, I trust them to perform at the very least a 6 out of 10. And then if they don't, we've got substitutes to come off the bench. Maybe we'll see a substitute goalkeeper in this game too. You never know. Me and my 2 boys will be sitting above Spurs fans. My first North London derby. Oh man, big up to Mr. 200. You know what? I hope you have a good one, my bro. I'm jealous. I am jealous. I've never been to a North London derby myself. My friend, Jake, he used to come in the chat a lot. He's been to a couple of them. I'm jealous that he went to them as well because his in-law, his father-in-law is he's an Arsenal fan and a season ticket holder. So he's very fortunate, and I hope you have a good one. And I hope Arsenal put on a show for you. Saka, Odegaard gets a goal with the new contract, so you get to hear that new chant. Maybe Saliba, so you can get involved with that too. And I hope you have a good one. Make sure you send photos in the Discord, Mr. 200. That's what it's all about. If you want to join the Discord server, link is in the description below. But I want to see photos for this game. I do love it. Shay, you've never been to an Arsenal game, man. You need to try and get to one. It's a lot harder now, Shay. I know it's expensive too, but definitely it's an experience that's well worth it. I only sat with the Arsenal fans for the first time last year. Been to plenty of Arsenal games, but not actually sat with the Arsenal fans, whether it's been home or away. I'd love to go to an away game. I've got so much that I need to tick off my bucket list in terms of football, but definitely need to. It is a. I know it sounds mad to say this, but kind of a life changing. It's something that you'll never forget. You'll never forget that experience, and yeah, you probably start and get the love for it. So try your best to, even if it's the Carabao Cup game, my bro. Try your best, and let's hopefully we qualify for that. Let's have a look in this here too. Yeah, Granddaddy. First time in a long time. Spurs concern me, but we got enough to see them off. Do you know what? I wouldn't even say this is the first time that Spurs have concerned me. I'm probably more confident than I have been in previous seasons because of how good we are for starters, and two, how I feel that this team sets up perfectly for us. And the Mourinho's, the Contes, how they like to try and spring and set us on the counter attack with the likes of Kane, Son in their prime, etc. Worried me a lot more because I thought we struggled to break down low blocks, and the players that they have in transition are a lot more scarier than I thought previously. But now, because of how good we are, defense, our midfield, and everything going forward, the depth that we have, even missing Partey, we're not even worried about that anymore. Who would have thought that? Who would have thought that? We've been yearning for years to have a defense midfielder. Partey comes in, every time he gets injured, we have a massive drop off, or we've had big drop offs, and then at least there's some sort of drop off, but it doesn't seem like we've had that with Declan Rice, baby. I think we'll beat them, but the fact I'm going is going the reason I'm nervous. I don't want to put the mockers on it. Yeah, 100%. I hear you, but yeah, if you're anything like me, you got 100% win record. I've been to more than 10 games as well, so I've got a good sample size. But yeah, let's and absolutely post pictures. Love to see that. We need a topless says Will. You can do that. You can send it on Discord, just not to my server. Now you can do if you want. If we win 5-1, then we need a topless pick, okay? Big up, Mr. 200. Let's go into the next game now. I know we spent a bit of time on that. If you do want a dedicated preview, I want to get people on. I'd love to get Arsenal fans tomorrow night. Hit that like button. Let me know in the comments. Send me a message as well. If you've got my number, send me a message on Discord if you haven't. But many ways to contact me. Not always the easiest to get in contact with. But if you want to get involved in that, if you're interested, just drop me a message. See if it's. I'll make some time tomorrow night. But the next game we're going to talk about is Liverpool versus West Ham United. This one is also kicking off at the same time as the North London derby. The reason why Arsenal kicking off at 2 is because of Yom Kippur, Jewish holiday. Is it a celebration? I'm not quite sure what it is, but I know it's a Jewish celebration. But Liverpool versus West Ham, I put this second because I think it is a good game. Two teams that have got good starts to the season. Liverpool having a transition within their midfield. West Ham having a transition from Declan Rice, and they've both done well. Really well. West Ham only lost one game, and that was to Manchester City last weekend. The two games don't really get much tougher than this. Man City at home and then Liverpool away at Anfield for the Hammers. But both teams coming off the back of European wins and coming from behind in both of those fixtures as well. Liverpool winning away to Lask. Their attack has looked threatening, potent. They've won 4 games as well. And some of those have been down to 10 men and grabbed a draw. Whereas West Ham won 3, won 3, drew 1, and lost 1. So yeah, it should be a very interesting one. Just in terms of the injury news for the away side, Edson Alvarez, he did there was a talk about him. He's getting used to playing in this West Ham team and in English football. So he was struggling with a bit of fatigue, but he should be available for this game. And the same goes for Jared Bowen, who missed the game due to illness. So he should return for this one, as well as Edson Alvarez. But Aaron Cresswell isn't going to be available for the Hammers. But for Liverpool, what we have here, potentially Trent Alexander-Arnold could be within the squad. Most likely won't be. He definitely won't be starting with the thigh injury that he's picked up. So we're looking for maybe next week he will return. But yeah, most likely won't be playing in this game on Sunday. Thiago Alcantara won't return back until October, just before the international break. So yes, Interesting game. Liverpool strong at home. They do have their vulnerabilities defensively, and West Ham going forward are dangerous. We've seen them how they set up against Brighton and how they were able to break them down. They're comfortable with being without possession, whereas Liverpool are a lot more of a possession-based side now, not as gung-ho as we've seen them. They still have a very high level of intensity, but not as Gagan pressing as relentless as they have been. A lot more controlled. Their midfielders, just the profile that they have in that midfield area. McAllister, Szoboszlai, who's been excellent, and if he keeps this going, when we're talking about the likes of Erdegaard, Bruno, Maddison, De Bruyne, he'll be up there and he'll be with the very best in there. And I think the very best include Erdegaard, De Bruyne, and I think Szoboszlai, if he can maintain this sort of form that he's showing, excellent midfielder. And what a signing that has been for Liverpool. One of the signings of the summer. And I want to ask you this now. Who's had a better start to their career at their respective clubs? James Maddison or Dominic Szoboszlai? Honestly, I don't have much hate. I rate Maddison. I do rate Maddison a lot, but I'm going with Szoboszlai, man. I'm going because he's coming from a new league. He's younger. He's what, 21, 22? He's just got so much to his game. Playing in a Liverpool team where they are lacking that defensive midfielder. They're lacking a little bit of stability there. But the fact that he's been able to cover across all different phases from the first to the second third and to the final third, he's been amazing, Dominic Szoboszlai, and had a real impact on this Liverpool team. So I'd choose him slightly ahead of Maddison, just ever so slightly. But yeah, I think he's been outstanding. And my thoughts on this game, although West Ham can pose problems going forward and defend resolutely, I think Liverpool at Anfield, they will grab a win. And it might be another game where they go a goal down, but they end up winning by 3-1. I do think Liverpool will win this one at Anfield, continue their unbeaten run, stretch it out to 17 games unbeaten. Jurgen Klopp, fair play to you, because this squad is still incomplete and they could potentially compete for a title. From what I've seen in the opening games, I just don't think they'll be good enough to last the whole season. When they do come up against the likes of Tottenham next week, when they do come up against Arsenal, the Man Cities, what they lack in that midfield, I think will really and well and truly get exposed in the biggest of games. I know they've done well against Newcastle. Newcastle haven't been as good this season, and going forward, they should have scored more. They should have created more, especially in the opening minutes against Liverpool, but didn't really. But that's been an issue for Newcastle overall. So yeah, Liverpool have just got that mentality. That's the reason they are as good as they are, to be honest. They have got the mentality. They've got the ruthless attackers, the goals that can come from all different players in different areas, the creativity, multiple creative outlets now with Szoboszlai and Trent, and Salah being a creative player now, the best right winger in the league. Saka, you'll get there one day, son. But right now, Salah holds the crown, the Egyptian king. But yeah, I've gone with 3-1 to Liverpool in this one game here. Let's hear what you're saying, everybody in the chat. What have we got? I hate to say it, but Liverpool have been cooking. If Klopp gets some depth in January, they look scary. West Ham, up and down. Yeah, I hear what you mean. They've looked, Man City, losing to Man City, no real shame in that. But yeah, I hear you saying Liverpool, if they do get some depth in the centre-back position, in the midfield, the centre-backs have performed okay, quite well. Konate and Van Dijk are definitely their first choices, and they're back fit and available, but still have that little openness in midfield. If they're able to get the quality and depth in there, Pax, they could be back, and back to be getting 90 plus points. So yeah, Shea's gone for a 4-3 thriller, but going to the away side in West Ham. My water says 2-2 for this one. Interesting fixture, not going to lie. I'm going to say 2-1 to Liverpool. Mr. 200 also says a 2-1 to Liverpool here. Szoboszlai has to carry things for a while, but if they were on a level-headed competition, it would be close. It's true. I hear you. Tough one. Not much in it, but Maddison, because he's been integral to the start of the Spud season. I hear you. Big good evening to Mrs. W. And we give my love to Mr. W as well. It says, evening, Mr. T, and all the good or gorgeous people. Sorry, had a bad headache, so fell asleep. So miss your start, your show. No worries. I hope I won't be chatting too much. And if that headache starts to come back again, I'm sorry. It's my fault. It's me being loud. It's me talking nonsense. But I hope you're keeping good, Mrs. W. Love to see you in here, and give love to Mr. W. And being as you got a headache, make sure Mr. W is looking after you. Like, make sure he is. Tell him T said so. I'm only joking. Hope it clears up soon. Where's Bird? Love to see that. Exactly. Manj in the building. Big up to yourself, my bro, Manj. Yes, we're just on the Liverpool game so far. Make sure you get your predictions in the chat, and stay tuned if you want to see the predictions table at the end. I saw your message. I was just in a rush and I was having internet issues, so sorry I couldn't get back in touch. But let's go now into the next game. So a 3-1 Liverpool win is what I've gone for there. Burnley versus Manchester United. This is the 8 o'clock kickoff here on Saturday evening, and it doesn't really get much bigger than this for Man United, given their run form recently, a lot of injuries that they've had. But for good news for United fans, and there isn't much to say, there's not been a lot of good news recently. You do have some injury boosts on this front. Sofian Amrabat, he could be available for the game. Most likely we'll be seeing Mason Mount. He could be back. He could be back for this one. Rafael Varane. Late fitness test, potentially an injury boost with those players there. But for the others, maybe Harry Maguire. Is that really a plus for Man United fans? Who knows? But yeah, you still got the likes of Luke Shaw, Aaron Wan-Bissaka. That's some bad news that you got from the back end of the Brighton result. He's out for 2 months with a hamstring strain. But no Luke Shaw, still no Malacia. So Reguilon will keep that spot, but he's done a decent job so far in the early days. Still no update on when Anthony will return, or Jadon Sancho. It doesn't look like he's going to return. May not even play a game for Manchester United again after all the reports saying that he's refusing to apologise. But yeah, it's some good news. Some key players could be back, especially at the back line for United in Varane, and their big 65. Was it 65? Was it 55? Can't remember how much he paid, but yeah, around that sort of region for Mason Mount. Massive game. Burnley at home, who did grab a draw in their last game against Nottingham Forest, have looked promising in their spells, even against Man City in that 3-0 defeat. Against Spurs, they went and scored 2 goals, but they look naive at the back. And in this sort of game, Man United, they can cause them problems. They may even score against them as well and really get the Turf Moor crowd going. And Vincent Company, their team has looked better. Koleosho, I'm not sure many people watch the Forest Burnley game, because it's not really one of them fixtures that people will be watching. But I was watching it on Monday, and all of Burnley's threat and their attack came from Koleosho. Amdouni did score the goal, tremendous finish, but where did it come from? Koleosho down that left. Man, he is a player. I know Moss loves him to bits, Canadian and all of that, but he is serious. Well, Canadian, he could represent Canada, Nigeria, or Italy. Italy will be the team that will be looking. That he could make it, basically. He could be good enough to play for him. He's only 18 years of age. Luca Koleosho, he's going to be a problem. Who's playing at right back? It will be Dalot. Dalot's a good 1v1 defender on his day. I've seen him come up against Luis Diaz, perform well, and seen him come up against Bukayo Saka, even at left back, out of position, and had a really good game. So yeah, Koleosho, he will give him a test. But I don't think it's going to be too much of a test, because I actually think Man United are going to get their first win in the last 4 games. It might be 3. I've seen people say 4, but I feel like it's 3 games they've lost in a row. But I think they will win this one by 2-1. The threat that they have in the counter attack. Rasmus Højlund grabbing his first goal against Bayern Munich. I feel like I need to put the Tereak Ray back on, because it is EAFC launch day after all. So yeah, maybe get the Bruno Fernandes out there. But yeah, maybe Bruno Fernandes with a goal and Marcus Rashford. Why am I saying it like he's German? Marcus Rashford could grab a goal. This is where the headache starts to return for West Spurs, you see. Moving mad, just moving mad. But 2-1 Man United, I think they will grab this one in the end, and a much needed win for the Red Devils. Let's see what you're saying. You guys never listen to me when I say we aren't ready to challenge for the title or get anywhere close. Yeah, I'd said you could do. I predicted at the start of the season that you, Liverpool, would be outside challengers, and yeah, it's not looking like that for United at all, Pax. But yes, I should listen to you until the Glazers are out, until the club look like they're in some sort of management. But Shay's gone for a 3-3 draw here. Wow, interesting. He's gone for a high scoring draw. I do know my team for the next few months we could struggle, but I'm backing my manager, Eric Ten Hag. So Paxton well on the Eric Ten Hag train, and he's still backing him. I love to see. I love to see it. People giving the manager and patience. I'm a little bit worried, and you know me, I'm an advocate for someone trust the manager, give him time, give him benefits of the doubt. I'm not worried about him tactically, not worried about his coaching ability or how he can get the best out of players. It's more about the man management and how the club aren't really backing him in that sense. Rumors, not sure how credible they are. Sorry, but McTominay and Maguire refuse to leave because they think that they will essentially outlast Eric Ten Hag, and there could be a new manager by next season, and they're hoping that they're going to still be involved in the plans for a new manager. That's not good, and that's once again the fact that the players can think that shows that the players have too much power there. The fact that the John Murtaugh's getting involved with the Jadon Sancho situation. No, just back your manager. If he says no, I'm not liking his professionalism, his behavior in training. Oh, he's responded like that. Back me. Don't try and be the middleman and try and be the bridge. No. Just let me sort it and back me. And if I want him to go, terminate his contract. Do whatever you need to do, man. That's what I saw Arteta do with he got a minimal fee for Guendouzi, terminate Ozil, terminate Aubameyang. And it's not about wages, guys, because he terminated our two highest earners in Ozil and Aubameyang at the stages when they were terminated. So just back the manager, build that culture right at Man United. I believe Eric Ten Hag could do it, but will he? I just don't think the club will do it for him, my bro, to be honest. That's my little doubt in there. Big up, man. Yes, please do pop them in the after the stream. Love that. 2-1 to the Manx, says Wilf. He thinks they're going to be a 2-1 win as well. And so does Mr. 200. Says 2-1 Man United. I know they are rubbish, but Burnley are rubbish on the road. But if Burnley don't win this, they need to surrender. It's true. They don't beat this Burnley team. Westbird really hopes Burnley can get their first win. I do as well. I do. I hope that, but I'm not sure if they can. But William says, Burnley, can you do something for me? Vincent Company, do something for me. 20. I don't know. I need shot. This the headache's back, isn't it, Westbird? But won't be surprised if Burnley gave Man U their fourth loss on a bounce. That would be if Man United lost 4 in a row and it's against Burnley. It could be a real danger. It really could be. I know they've got a lot of injuries, but they don't look like the injuries are easing up anytime soon. I will say that. Watch this space. I could change my mind and go for a Burnley win. Hey, you got plenty enough time. You can get your predictions in the comment section, remember. So don't worry, man. I'm not going to count the ones that you send in here. Eric Ten Hag is stubborn enough. He will try to get that locker room back into shape. Ultimately, our locker room has never been fully together in the majority of the 10 years. Player Power FC. I will support Eric Ten Hag till the end. I think the fans should too. I think the fans should do, to be honest. He won you what? He won you a Carabao Cup with a lot of them aren't even his players, a lot of average players. Dross that he did that with. Yeah, it wasn't great, it wasn't the toughest of runs, but the fact that he still won a trophy shows that he knows what he's doing at the end of the day, because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer couldn't do it and he had better players. T-Money, if you're in danger of getting shut down, if you keep singing like that. I know I've got a sore throat as well at the moment, man. So yeah, I'm struggling. Yeah, I just play him on the sore throat. Yeah, because my voice is usually much better than this. It's got a voice of an angel. But let's go into the next game. And this is another team that was struggling in Chelsea against Aston Villa. And Aston Villa, both teams, not great at the moment. Aston Villa lost against Legia Warsaw last night, 3-2. And Chelsea drew 0-0 against Bournemouth. Not great. But I think this one's going to be an interesting game. Chelsea, again, a bit like Man United. If you can't win here, I mean, if it's not as bad as Man United because Burnley are worse than Aston Villa. But the fact that you're at home, you need to be grabbing something. Pochettino, he's been getting the backing of the Chelsea board. He's been struggling with injuries in his side too. And just to give you a quick overlook on the injuries that they've got there, Caicedo never trained. They're still without Nkunku, Fofana, Lavia, Badiashile, Carney Chukwuemeka, Reece James. Yeah, the list goes on. Noni Madueke could return. Maybe Caicedo will, but it'll be a risk to bring him back after he's not had minimal time training. But yeah, what's Caicedo had? He's had a knee injury as well. So I don't really want to rush players there, but missing a lot of their key players and a young team that's already needing a lot of time to gel. Huge game for Chelsea. Pochettino. They have performed much better than they did last season overall. They are creating chances, but the issue is Chelsea just don't really have anyone to put them in the back of the net. And if you're not taking chances in the games where you are dominating in the Premier League, they're just not quite good enough to dominate for the whole of the 90 minutes or for the majority of it yet. When they come up against sides who do have an understanding and have some quality players, they have struggled. So I think Aston Villa can cause them problems, and it will be more of a counter-attacking display. We know what Unai Emery sets up. They beat Chelsea last season too. So Ollie Watkins, Moussa Diaby, and the likes of will look to bounce back after their defeat away in Poland last night. But will that Legia Warsaw, that tie in the Europa Conference League, will that be the downfall for Aston Villa? Chelsea had a whole week's preparation for this one. I to be honest, I'll be real. Yeah, I don't really make too much of. No, that's a lie. When it's more for the Champions League, I don't make too much of where if there's a whole week's rest and that, because I think Man City have proven that. Have proven that, yeah, you can still be good enough. If you are a good team, it don't matter if you played in many games in midweeks and stuff, as long as your key players are staying fit, they'll be there and they'll turn up in these sort of fixtures. But I do think it's going to be a draw. I'm sitting on the fence, get the splinters off my backside. I've gone for a 2-2 draw, an Emery classic if you're an Arsenal fan, because Arsenal, we drew a lot 2-2 under Unai Emery, especially towards the end of his tenure. They will concede a lot of chances, but I just can't see Chelsea taking enough of them. In these sort of games, they're going to need big performances. They need Nicola Jackson needs a goal. Mikhailo Mudryk, can he grab his first goal here and get the ground running? I was impressed with it. I'm not gonna lie, I was impressed with Mudryk against Bournemouth. Sterling had a great start, but he seems to have faded away a little bit now. It wasn't great against Bournemouth, although he smacked the bar and it looked like it went in, that free kick, to be honest. But maybe we might see something from Chelsea here. A 2-2 draw, respectable, I guess. You know, the level that Chelsea want to get to, the money that they've spent, they should really be winning this. Should, definitely. But let's be honest, they've spent a lot on young players who are very much unproven in a club like Chelsea, or haven't just done it for a long time. Like Caicedo, he's done it for a year and a half in the Premier League. And he's looking dreadful at Chelsea in his opening games. But yeah, I've gone with a 2-2 draw. I just think Villa have too much in their attack. I want to see what you guys and girls are saying, though. Big up to everyone that's tuning in here. And if you haven't done so already, please just smash that like button. Can we get to 20 likes, guys, towards it? The best way to do that is if you can just tell a friend or two. Let's get this to 20 likes. I'm giving you a target here. And big up to, we got a new subscriber and 724 now. So big up to who the new subscriber is in the place. Love to you. And I hope you enjoy the channel and enjoy the content. Let's have a look into this here. This game screams of a draw, but I hope Villa can kick on aside from them being in the wrong side of the Midlands. The West is the best, okay? The East is yeah. You know what I mean there. Big up Pax. Big up Moss in the building says, "What's up, Tea Talkers?" He's happy. He's not made a comment about the hat because it's the it's the Raptors. So I love that. He loves it. Big up Moss in the building. I know you're a happy man after Odegaard signed his new contract. Shay's gone for a 3-1, 3-0 Chelsea win, and Mr. 200 has gone for a 3-1 Aston Villa win. Realist in at the cut, my brother here says, hope Chelsea lose. I hope they do too. To be honest, I don't need a Musa Diaby goal because I don't want to wear Spurs shirt at the end of the season. Wilf says things are going to get worse before they get better for Poch. 2-1 Aston Villa. Hopefully the worst for Chelsea goes on for 10 years and times that by 10 for me, please. Granddaddy Guna, who too, he's gone 3-1 to Aston Villa, I do believe. Did Tereak show us the standings? I haven't shown them yet. That is towards the end. Don't you worry about that, Moss Boss. You can catch that in a bit. Mr. W says 1-1. Oh, 1-1 draw. He's agreeing with the result. Just a different score. This Jackson brother better prove me wrong, but my goodness, he has been woeful. He's definitely split opinion. In moments, he's looked brilliant out of the area, I'd say, when he's carrying the ball. And he's technically quite sound up until shooting, but his shooting and finishing has been horrendous indeed. Let's have a look. Chelsea can't borrow, they can't beg, borrow, or steal a goal at the moment. Oh, yeah, they can't buy a goal. Simple as that. I'm so happy. I know you are. I am too. Not everyone has hit the like button, so people go and get. You know what? Don't smash it. Listen to Westbird. So give a caress, please. How much are we on? 18. We still on 18. Let me hit that refresh. Refresh still on 18. Come on, my people. Realist, my man. Love that. Love that. And Manch T, my fellow West Midlands broski. Love it. I know where you're from. I know where you're from. Big up my bro. West Midlanders in the house, in the cut. Better than the East. I went 3-1 Chelsea. So Moss has gone for a 3-1 Chelsea win for this one here. As well. So let's go on into the next fixture. We're probably going to run through these ones a bit quicker because I think this one's a foregone conclusion. Manchester City have been on fire. Big shout out to Julian Alvarez. Did you see him in the Champions League against against that Serbian team? I can't pronounce it. But yeah, against Nottingham Forest, should be a foregone conclusion. Although Forest have looked a lot more impressive away from home, defensively assured. But after all that nice chat about Forest, big up to themselves. This is an anomaly. Manchester City 4, Forest 0. I think I've been a bit brave by going Man City to keep a clean sheet. They haven't looked as defensively sound. Missing few players through injury. No Grealish, no Stones, who still won't be back for this one. Bernardo Silva's out injured as well. He was replaced by Jeremy Doku before halftime in that Champions League game. So yeah, it should be interesting. He's saying that. Hold on, he's saying in fact that Jack Grealish could return for this game. Mateo Kovacic may also return for this one, but yeah, John Stones won't be back just yet. But I've gone for a 4-0 City win. Let's see what you're saying. Shay, I hope you're right. I'll definitely take that indeed. No Robbie Williams, but yeah, take that. Emery, listen, the bold fraud will batter Forest. Simple analogy. Exactly. He will. Mr. W says 3-0 Manchester City. Yeah, guys, get your predictions into the comment section as I'm going to move on to the next game now. Brighton and Hove Albion. I don't think this one is as much as a foregone conclusion. They lost to AK Athens last night, sorry. And yeah, this is the thing with Brighton. One moment they're excellent, they're scintillating, they're really after 20 minutes dominated the game against Man United and controlled it. But in the first 20 minutes, they look susceptible, and they do look susceptible to goals on the break, and they're not watertight defensively. So yeah, you never quite know what to expect with them, especially against teams that want to hit them on the transition and counter attack quickly. I just don't think Bournemouth are going to do that. They're someone who wants to play a little bit like Brighton, press them really high. I think that's playing exactly into Brighton's hands and doing Iraola. Eventually, he'll get there. I do think with Bournemouth, give him time, please. I know when teams get in and around the relegation zone, they're quick to pull the trigger, but please just give him time in Andoni Iraola. Let him get Tyler Adams fit at least. And if he gets fit and then gets injured again, they could be in trouble. But yeah, 3-1 Brighton is what I've gone for here. They're going to bounce back from that achy Athens. Thankfully, the game last night was at home. This one's at home too, so it shouldn't be too much of a issue in terms of fatigue. I'd say not much traveling. I mean, not any traveling at all. They went straight back home after last night. But yeah, 3-1 Brighton and Bournemouth to continue their not so good start under Andoni Iraola. And I've just given you a prediction for the next game. Sheffield United versus Newcastle. I've given it, so I may as well go in it through it here. I've gone for a Sheffield United 0, Newcastle 1. Not impressed with Newcastle at all, and I wasn't impressed with them in the Champions League. Yes, I've seen Newcastle fans say, it was our first game back in the Champions League for 20 or so years. We got to take it. 0-0 as a San Siro, defensively solid, but I thought AC Milan, who aren't even that great of a team, they're there for the taking. And they dominated that game. Should have scored, had chances. Rafael Leao, Theo Hernandez. They just look weak going forward at the moment, Newcastle. Devoid of creative goals. Alexander Isak, isolated figure. When Wilson's on up there, they don't tend to play together. And when they have played together, yeah, we've seen little cameos where they look brilliant, but then they also look less stable at the back because just Isak just doesn't do his defensive duties as well as a Miguel Almiron or Jacob Murphy or someone like that. But they don't really have that threat. They don't have many goals coming from midfield at the moment. So I've just gone with a 1-0 Newcastle win. Although, would I be surprised if Sheffield United grabbed something? Impressed with them, how they played against Spurs. And they haven't looked as bad in other games. I just think they just lack the quality overall, to be honest. Let's see what you guys and girls are saying. I know I've got two results to catch up. Well, to catch up on. 3-0 Brighton, 3-0 Brighton. Mr. W also says 3-0 Brighton there. Bournemouth lower mid-table this season. I think they could be higher mid-table. But yeah, Pax, there's plenty of things that I've gone with big shouts that definitely look like big shouts at this stage, but hopefully time will prove me right. Kai Havertz. Newcastle 2-0, surprisingly poor. How is Newcastle the late game on a Sunday? No disrespect. Yeah, I've seen a lot of talk about this. It's just simply, bro, the fact that it's a Jewish celebration, and of course in North London there's a big Jewish community. So it was by the request of both teams, I believe. So yeah, to have the game earlier for that Jewish celebration, Yom Kippur. So yeah, that is the reason why they've got the late kickoff. Otherwise, it would have been the 2:00 one. But to be honest, they would have had the 2:00 one alongside Chelsea Villa, alongside Liverpool, West Ham, and still been on TV. So yeah, it's a bit of a joke. But they have to hit a quota, don't they, Sky Sports, of how many times they show a certain team, and it's better to get it done earlier in the season so that they can pick the games that they want towards the end. The games actually mean something. That's why they do it. Shay's gone 7-0 Newcastle. Wow. So he's gone the complete opposite in saying that Newcastle are going to score some goals here. Hot take. William says shared points 1-1. See, I'm not hot take it, but I can see it. After what I saw against Spurs, defensively resolute. Yeah, they rolled their luck a little bit, but they look a well-drilled team, well-organised to a certain extent, even though where they lack quality. Newcastle are vulnerable at the moment. I hear you. And if they are going to have any chance of staying at will, bro, they need to do it at home. They need to win them games at home. Man, it's because both teams have had a crap start to the season. It's true. 4-0 City, says Mr. 200. Is it? My bad. I didn't know that. Yeah, no. Not many people did. Not many people did, don't you worry. But Liverpool fans are kicking off and that, and mainly them saying, well, why are we not on TV? Yeah, mate, because they want to have you on TV towards the end of the season because they think that you're going to do something. So they don't want to use up all their games and then have to show Sheffield United games and Newcastle towards the end if they're both in mid-table obscurity. I mean, even if, one of them's in there, it's a bit of a dead rubber, really, because no one cares about Sheffield United. Sorry, Sheffield United fans, but let's go on into the next game. And another one, a relegation battle, relegation 6-pointer. It looks like at the moment. If Luton Town are going to have any chance of not finishing rock bottom, they need to get at least a point here in this game. Lost to Fulham in their last one. Wolves lost to Liverpool after a very good first 45 minutes. Pedro Neto is back, baby. He's back, ladies and gents. Created the most chances out of any player this season so far. And he's doing that for a horrendous Wolves attack. Not a horrendous team, but their attack is woeful. And he's doing that, and he's basically carrying them on his back. Mateus Cunha missed an open goal against Liverpool in that 3-1 defeat. But in this game here, you know what, guys? I've gone with the Luton draw. They're going to get a point. Low-scoring game. Wolves don't tend to score. Luton don't really have the quality in front of goal. Rob Edwards against the team where he made his name at playing for Wolves. Not many of you would have known that because it was in the Championship and the lower leagues. But Rob Edwards, Derby, this one is a 1-1 draw. Luton versus Wolves is a future Championship game. Absolutely. Absolutely indeed. Goalless draw, says Pax. I think Wolves are still going to be horribly inconsistent no matter what single-handed players can do. Yeah, you can't. Yeah, I can have all these individual players, but if you've got no one to put the ball in the back of the net, create all these chances, simply, you're just not going to be a good team, are you? It's true, Pax. I don't disagree with you at all there. Luton 2-1, says Shay. Luton versus Wolves. This one has a 0-0 written all over it. So say a prayer for my stepdad and the likes of Ed and Jacob who are going to be watching this game. Sorry. But yeah, I've gone with a 1-1 draw here. Watch it be a 4-4 thriller now. Brentford versus Everton. Brentford had a good start to the season, lost their last game against Newcastle, of course, only a 1-0 defeat, and it was due to a penalty as well. A bit of a fortunate one. Was it a penalty for me? If it was against my team, I'm saying yes. But I mean, if it was for my team, I'm saying yes. But if it's against it, yeah, one of them 50-50 ones for me. Yeah, I don't really like them. With penalties, yeah, guys. And this is what I always want to say. I don't think some of the penalties we see in this Premier League. This is why with the Kai Havertz one, I don't Kai Havertz against Man United. I'm all right with that not being given. Just make sure you don't give it to everyone else as well, please, because I feel like a penalty needs to be an egregious foul, like something that is the most clear thing ever. Because the punishment, like where Anthony Gordon went for that situation there, he went out of play, bro. He went out of play. Yeah. And he got a nick to the ball, but he was not going anywhere with it. And he was given a penalty, a chance to score. Do you get it for that situation just because of a little lack of communication and slip? And it's a maximum punishment. And that's the thing with penalties for me. Yeah, we want more goals in the game, but I don't want more penalties because they're not that's not entertaining to watch a penalty, is it? In a game, I guess, yeah, it's not really. Maybe in a penalty shootout. Yeah, I don't like them sort of stupid penalties being given away. And yeah, maybe have an indirect free kick or something. Maybe, but yeah, maybe I'm moving mad. Maybe, but in terms of this game anyway, I've gone for a 2-1 Brentford win. Even though Rico Henry is out, that's why I've gone with Everton to score. But Everton just look woeful at the moment. I do think eventually, though, Everton will get there. I just think they need a run of games with that are quite easy. They have played Wolves at home, played Fulham at home, and I thought those two teams would be relegation candidates. Yeah, I've just gone for a 2-1 Brentford win, 2-1 Everton, 2-1 Brentford. Oh, 2-1 Everton as well. So mixture of results there. And 2-0 Brentford. Everton are going to struggle to stay up big time. Don't think they'll do it. Big Sean for the sack very soon, says Wilf. Potentially could be the case indeed. I do hear you on that. And for the final game. This is a London derby, South versus West. Crystal Palace, Roy Hodgson derby, let's call it that. And I think this is going to be an interesting one. Hopefully, Roy is back and available for this one on the bench because he was sick for the last game. And speaking of robberies, Crystal Palace were robbed against Aston Villa in that 3-1 defeat. Kind of glad though, because it gave me a correct score, the only one I had. But yeah, I've gone for in this game a Crystal Palace win. I think Crystal Palace will be a mid-table side, maybe finish up with Chelsea. Ken, who knows? Maybe they can do that. But I think in this sort type of game, they're just going to need to grab the points. It's a season where they're going to try and get their young players like Mateus França to be adapting and just enjoying well, I was about to say enjoying the last seasons of Eze and Elise, but they both signed new contracts. Is that good news for Palace in the future front? Are they making themselves an appealing prospect? Are they showing clear direction to these players that they're going to be showing real ambition in the future, like similar to what Brighton have shown, etc.? Maybe, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see. The time will tell with that one. But I've gone with a 2-1 Crystal Palace win. Fulham, one of the hardest teams to predict. I predicted them to go down, but they've done much better so far than I predicted them to do. But I've gone for Crystal Palace to win by 2-1 in this game here. Tight game for one of the 3 o'clock kickoffs. Palace versus Fulham is going to be very interesting. I hear it. Yeah, it's going to be... It's hard to pick a winner. 1-0 Palace, says Moss. 3-2 Palace, says Wilf. Assume you got my picks last week. Yeah, in Discord. Yeah, I did. If you can, Moss, for me, just dash them into the comment section at the end. I would appreciate that, my bro. But yeah, I did get them. I calculated them for you for this week's table. You'll see right after this as well. So Shay's gone for a 2-2 draw. Wilf went for a 3-2 Palace. And yeah, that's the realist right there. But let's go into the table and the predictions, and then the final thing I'm going to say about what changes we're going to add here for the preview show. So this was last week's table. Jacob first, Mange second, Moss in third, Ed in fourth, Mr. 200 in fifth, joint fifth with myself and Pax. And then Wilf, King, my sister Alicia, and User. But there was genuinely someone who commented on the first week called User. And Shay, bro, get your predictions into the comment section. I see you get them in on the live show. If you can get them into the comments, my bro, that would be much appreciated as well, man. Appreciate you, my bro, Shay. But this is the change. There has been a change in the table. And Moss has overtaken Mange in with 42 points. Yes, you see the points. Moss and Mange are both on 42, but by correct scores, Moss has doubled Mange, and he's got 8 correct scores. This week was a big week for Moss. He did get 12. He got 12 points. So from, what was it, 30 to 42? Quick maths. Yeah, I should have... As you can see, I'm a genius. Should be an accountant. But he also got 3 correct scores. A massive week for Moss in this one here. And not just Moss wasn't the only one who got 3 correct scores. The person who got the most in the last game week was Paxton. Pax got 13 points and he cut himself adrift. He's got a 4-point lead ahead of me, to 3-point lead ahead of Mr. 200. So we're not joint fifth anymore. I'm bottom out of them fifth, those people in fifth. But Wilf is climbing up the table fast, and he's not too far behind me, 9 points behind me in there. So, yeah, and King, I think King had a decent. He had 8 points. So yeah, we had quite a strong week from loads of people. I think the lowest that people got was Alicia and King with 8 points. I got 9 points, 1 correct score. But The likes of Manj, he got 10 points with 1 correct score. Mr. 200 got 2 correct scores with 10 points. Wilf got 11 with 2 correct scores. But Jacob picked 9. That's a bad week for Jacob, but he's still got a correct score and 9 points. And Pax and Moss with 13 and 12. Big week there. And the reason why I'm keeping track of these guys is because this is my little announcement for some of the changes that I'm going to make from next week. Yes, from next week, I'm going to be doing for those people who haven't predicted or it's too late. I can't. I'm not going to catch up with these guys. They've got a lot of people too consistent. It's too hard. No, you can still be within the chance of winning smaller prizes from next week and through out until the end of, so what is it, the week beginning the 29th, yeah, and that weekend I'll be doing a predictor of the month. So the person who gets the most points throughout that month will get a small gift for like player of the month. Do you know like what we have where we have players of the month and predictors of the month? That'll be beginning from next week. It'll be a small gift. I'm thinking of gift cards because they're easier to get around, especially if we've got people in and around the world here. It's easy. You can get your gift card by email. I'm going to be giving out different gift cards and just like that for the month, just to say thank you, because I know I've told you and I've said, yes, I'm still yet to sort your prizes out for the last season. But when I'm still going to sort that out, guys, you still will receive that. It's just taking a little bit longer. And what I can do for now is provide you with gifts of the month. So players of the month's predictors. That is starting from next week. So those of you who are competing for the ultimate prizes at the end of the season, you still go there, still keep smashing it out. But if you can even win, you'll be within a chance of getting giveaways for predictor of the month starting from next week. Make sure you do that. So make sure people, to keep you guys, I thought, do you know what? This is one of my shower thoughts for people as we're getting into the season now. We get we get into game week 6. Those of you who are new, subscribing from other channels and brand new, I'll give you that added incentive. And for those of you who really back your predictions as well, that you can still be within a chance of just being involved in part of the giveaways. So you know, if you win the league, you could be doing bits right here. So I want to make sure that you guys are being rewarded for your consistency for that. And yeah, you will be getting those. And I really do appreciate you all. Just a small gift. And it doesn't, and this is why I want to do it, because you guys make my week, man. Serious when I do these things. I love talking football. I chat nonsense half the time. I am going to definitely be getting guests to come along from next week as well. I want to get guests every week on this show. Of course, that's not always going to be viable just from, my schedule mainly. I'm going to be busier some weeks and I might be doing it on short notice. That's the reason why I've not reached out to enough people yet to say, yo, do you want to do it? I'm going to be starting doing that this weekend, see who's available and whatnot. And then, but I want to get guests on for most weeks, and it's going to be the anomaly where it's myself. I will be adding a guest sort of tab in there. So even if you are involved, don't worry, you can chuck yours in there, but guests, they'll also get their own and they can compete against me as well. Yeah, they can compete. But yeah, I want to get guests on. So predictor of the month, guests to come on regularly. Those of you in the comments, those of you a part of this, more than welcome to join as well. You don't need to have a channel or anything to join for this here. So that's the likes of Manj. Those of you that are in here, because I know Manj loves his predictions. My bro Moss is in here. Wilf, Pax. I'd love to get you on, my bro Pax. That would be the dream come true. That would. Who will be the first predictor of the month? Exactly. He will be the first. So guests, predictor, and I'm also going to be adding some new elements to this stream. So a little, like what I've added in here in the poll that I've got here. I'm going to be doing more of them within the stream. Player of the months that we've gone through here and whatnot. Just spicing it up a little bit. And speaking of spicing it up a little bit, I'm going to throw this out as well to you guys. I'll put it in the Discord. I'll get a straw poll in there. So if you haven't done so, get in the Discord server. I might even chuck it into the community tab as well. I'm going to try and add a little food element because, guys, I know this is Tereak Talks Football, but when I haven't been doing my watch longs as much recently. When we're watch alongs, we talk more about food than we talk about football. And sometimes we have some of the most entertaining stuff in there. Would you be open into me adding a little bit? It's only a little subsection to the preview show about food. I know it's not linked to football or anything, because we talk about food a lot. I want something like a meal of the week, yeah, or meal of the day. Yeah, meal of the week is just one meal, one snack that me as the host and the guest has had. It's completely random. It's completely off topic with football. But that's what Tereak Talks is about, ladies and gents. If you haven't realised already, I go on tangents a lot. I talk about loads of other stuff here too. Yeah, if you cooked, listen to this brother, yeah. Oh my days, you are not wrong. I do cook, but I don't cook often. Mumsy does it. That's why I live at home with Mumsy still, you know what I mean? I'll be one of them 50 no, I can't say that. Mum will like, no, please, no, please. But yeah, packs do exactly. Those are three things. I want to add more stuff into the show as well. So I get a lot of shower thoughts about the show. Do you know what? I was just saying it's simple. I just think about you guys in the shower. Pause. That's all it is. T has burnt toast meal of the week. Yeah, but yeah, that's what I will do. Show is going to be 5 hours. Yes, 4.5 hours talking about food. Okay, simple as that. But yeah, just adding those little elements. But that's going to be something that you can vote about. Just random stuff. Will it just always be about food? No, it could be a favorite song of the week, favorite movie, little subsection, etc. Yeah, heavy pause, heavy. I'm even mad. But yeah, just I want to add a little bit of Tereak Talks to this, like we did with the watch alongs that we used to do. But yeah, they will be back. Definitely, people. They will be back. I know they came back at the very start and then they've not come back since, but yeah, they will be indeed. But guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. I do love you and I do appreciate you all. And I genuinely mean that from the bottom of my heart. I know cliche and I've just said it in the most cliche version, but yeah, definitely. Sorry, catch up tomorrow. I had to play table tennis. Nah, no worries, man. Go. You play. Enjoy that. I'm table tennis. I'm much better than I was before. The AT Sports EPL predictor. Yeah, must use his Super Brew for that one there. 0 participation awards. Oh, I've not got any. Oh, man. It's just, bro. I'll jump in on that. I'll show you what I'll go on. I'll jump in on that better than I do for the for the draft. I haven't looked at the draft in ages. Now, T-Money, you really didn't need to know you're shouting. Great. Now I gotta get that out of my head. Yeah, now you're in the shower. Next time you're in the shower, you probably will. Well, I can't cook. Hey, fair enough. You're calling me out. Those who live in glass houses should throw stones. But now, big up to everyone in the place right here. I hope you do enjoy the rest of your weekends. What am I going to be doing? I'll tell you what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be playing some EAFC 24. I was thinking potentially streaming that soon, mate. I was thinking this weekend, maybe. It's gonna be. Yeah, we got so many games and that this weekend. I don't know if I got the time tomorrow. I'm busy tomorrow night. Yeah. Well, do you know what? I watched a film. By the way, this is absolutely. I'm watching another film with Mumsy. But yeah, let me tell you this. Do you know what film I watched? Soul. What a film, a Disney film. If you haven't watched it, that's a little random recommendation. The movie of the week is Soul. Definitely watch it. Disney Plus if you're here in the UK. Yeah, defo. Give that a watch. We will have to do a movie watch along Twitch channel revival. It comes alive for a moment and then goes completely. Yeah, maybe. It really inspired me with his Twitch revival. He's watched it. Shay likes it. Did you like Soul? Big up, little bro. Love you like cooked food always. Love to see that. If you watch Soul, it is a quality film. Not Sol Campbell. Yeah, not Sol Campbell. TT actually won. I think your drafts league, I can win it. No excuses. I'll do it. Do it. Defo gonna watch Soul. Definitely, bro. Definitely. Watch it with watch it with watch with no, not the little one, but not so little anymore. But you know what I mean? She'll always be your baby. So you could definitely, but yeah, it's a class film. Yes, me of all people. You've watched it as well. Realist knows. Realist has watched it. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna love and leave you. The randomness is over. It will be 5 hours, like Paxton said, if I carried on here. But take care, my people. Enjoy your Friday night. Don't forget predictions in the comment section at the end as well. God bless and peace. Enjoy your Friday night.